Hi there. Before you jump into this episode, we want to make sure our listeners know about the How Do You Drew Patreon page, where we release exclusive content for our members.
We've shared unedited video versions of podcast episodes, rare Drew Barrymore photos from our digital archives, movie commentaries, and so much more.
We're currently working through a deep dive of each chapter of Little Girl Lost, which, if you don't know, is Drew's out-of-print autobiography released when she was only a teenager. And it's been really good stuff, you guys.
There's already plenty of content to dig into and lots more to come. So join now for as little as $1 a month and support us at How Do You Drew.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/howdoyoudrew to join today. Thank you.
Enjoy the episode.
Hello. Welcome to How Do You Drew?
This is a Drew Barrymore podcast brought to you by thedrewseum.com.
And sponsored by our friends at Positive Medium.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Ashley. Hello, hello.
And hello. Welcome to December.
Yeah,
I guess this is our first December episode for the regulars.
We did it. For a second, we were like, are we going to have to skip this week? But somehow we always seem to get it all done.
I like how you're already saying we got it done when we haven't even started.
The fact that we're here recording is like the first step, okay?
That's true. That's true. So let's get into episode 94, which will be a year in review. But first, let's get into that stuff at the top that we like to do.
Okay. Very surprising Deja Drew, which is what we call our follow-ups to previous episodes. Who would have thought there'd be a doppelganger follow-up like 2 episodes later?
Never would have guessed.
Never would have guessed. But this is because Danny Trejo came on to the Drew Barrymore show, and he has a very small part in Doppelganger where he like catcalls her and she knees him in the groin. They even showed that scene, which was amazing. But I thought it was definitely fun to mention what they talked about, because he said that he had like kind of improvised the cat calling. Like the director just said like cat caller.
Okay.
And he said something like carnitas when he was doing it. And I guess Drew had immediately started laughing, and she said, "No one has ever called me little pieces of pork." And then I know, how good is that? And then the other little bit of trivia is that Drew said the movie was so low budget that the dress that she's wearing in that scene, the like navy blue with the white polka dots, was actually hers from her closet. Do you think that's true?
I don't know. That's really funny. I wouldn't be surprised that it was that low budget, but I don't know. Did the pearls also come from her closet? No. That's the only thing they supplied is a wig and the pearls.
Right. The wig. We can look at the wig and know how low budget that movie was.
Okay. All right. That's hilarious. Would we have ever guessed that Danny Trejo would be a guest right after we did the episode? No.
These are the things we make happen with this podcast, Anne.
Yeah, apparently. Apparently. Let's get into what Drew proclaimed her love for.
I love love.
All right. So Drew loves the old shove in the oven. Naturally.
Like that point in a cooking?
I think so,
okay.
Yeah. She loves dried shrimp.
Okay.
Bold choices. And she loves Hollywood squares.
Okay.
Her notes app.
I love that came up because as I was skimming her blog, I noticed that one of the things showed that she like clearly types up the blog in the notes app.
Really? How could you tell?
There was a picture of her holding up her own computer, and you could see like that current post. I think it was like maybe not the most recent one, but the one before that. But anyway, I had noticed that like yesterday. So that's kind of funny.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. I love that.
All right. What was last?
And then finally, she loves sour cream. She said it was like one of her most favorite things in the world, which was news to me, but I love it too. So
I do love sour cream in specific applications.
Yes, like baked potatoes and Mexican food.
Yeah, now I want like a quesadilla with some sour cream and guacamole.
And lettuce.
Oh. Okay, so what did you pull for our Druism of the week?
You know, those cool little isms that we do.
This one comes from the holiday issue of Drew magazine. And
Okay.
it was just like a little quote that was printed on a page. And I thought it was so cute. It said, I want to be the human version of a disco ball, shining light and spreading joy wherever I go.
Well,
She
you're
totally is.
successful because so many people refer to you as a shining light, Drew. That's great.
Oh my God. We're going to get into that again in a minute.
Yes, we are. Okay, so we've got a little bit of mail, so let's get into our mail.
You've got mail.
This is kind of wild because this started as a mail and then it also becomes a follow up. A very weird coincidence. Again, cosmic coincidences all over the place.
Love.
So we had a message from Blythe Joanna. And she says, I just wanted to say that you are the very best Drew Barrymore fan site account in history. That's a big statement. She continues, I have been following your work and your love for her for years and years. How long have you been doing this? Because I swear it feels like decades that I've been paying attention. So, first of all, it almost has been two
Well, it kind
decades.
of is. Yes, we were just talking about the fact that our website is almost 19 years old, which is insane.
Woo, crazy. Okay, now this gets even weirder. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Joanna is one of the people in the like weird pictures at the Charlie's Angels Los Angeles premiere in 2000 with Courtney Love, where I was like, I think these were contest winners. She's one of those people.
Oh my God, what are the chances?
Is that crazy?
That's pretty crazy.
The details were, and I kind of remembered as soon as she started telling me, I'm like, this is what I was thinking of. There was like a contest on whole.com and Courtney like picked some people and then they were flown to LA, brought to Courtney's house and
Oh,
rode like in the limo to the premiere with Courtney and Francis Bean.
what the hell?
I know.
That is crazy. I can't believe that because it was we didn't we just talk about this?
Yes, 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yes. That is crazy. All right, so we've got some more mail. We got our first to my PO box. We
Yay.
posted on I think our Instagram like several months ago. So our follower Mel at Inspired by Drew, who I think we've mentioned before, sent us
Yes.
some super cute beaded bracelets made for us reading Druseum and HDYD Pod. So really cute. And she had given a similar one to Ross, you pointed out, and Drew at the Drew Barrymore show.
Yeah, Ross even wore his on air, so that's really fun. We're twinning with Ross.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, I'm going to read you the letter that she sent because it's really sweet. So here we go.
Oh, okay.
So Melissa said, Dear Ashley and Anne, thank you so much for your kindness towards me and for everything you do for the Drewby community. I'm so happy that I met you both and love listening to your podcast and being a Patreon member. I made you both these sets of friendship bracelets. I hope you like them. I wanted to put my time into something special for you since you put so much of your time into what you do for the Drewby community. Sending lots of love your way. Love always, Melissa XOXO.
So nice. Oh my
Love it. And I
gosh.
love a
Thank
physical
you.
letter. Like, yay.
Oh my God. We've been dying for one of those. And for her to have made us a little gift, like incredibly cool.
Thank you, Melissa.
Do you want to shout out the P.O. box just in case anyone else is inspired?
Oh, yeah. So if anyone else wants to send us a letter, go ahead and write to the Druseum at P.O. Box 416, Phillips, Maine 04966. And
All
yeah,
right.
that's where you can send another place you can send us mail if you're so inclined.
Sounds good. Love it. Thank you again, Mel.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's get into the kind comments corner. You want to introduce this?
Yeah, Ariana Grande was on the Drew Barrymore show, which they've been hyping up a lot on their social media.
Yeah,
So
they
I'm sure
have.
you guys have seen that. But she had one moment where she said some really sweet things to Drew, and I just thought it was very apt for the things that we like to share in this little corner.
All right, let's hear it.
I admire you so much because I know how hard you do work to learn and to take care of yourself and to grow. And I know how young you started. And I don't know too much about, what your relationship has been to this industry the whole time, but I do know what you have shared publicly about it. And I just have to say, it can be ugly sometimes. And your strength and your heart and like who you are, the light that you bring and ability to dance in the rain and preserve that childlike wonder is like such a gift. It is such a gift. And
Oh, that's really sweet. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I love that she's calling out the rain," because Drew got got so made fun of for that, and it's like
Yeah,
that's
that's
why we
true.
love her is that
I know.
playfulness and that ability to make something that other people find miserable into like a joy. So
So
that
true.
was sweet. That's a good choice for the kind comments corner.
Thanks, Ariana.
Yes, thanks for putting into words something that we agree with. All right, so should we get into this week in Drew history?
All right, let's go way, way back. We're going to December 15th, 1990. This
Mhm.
is so random. Drew co hosted an event at the Limelight nightclub in New York with Grace Jones and John Casablancas. Super weird. So she's 15 at the time. She is post rehab. I don't know what the heck she's doing hosting an event at the Limelight, but we have do you also have one of those little flyer postcards for this event?
I don't think I do, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So the kind of notable thing is that she was pictured there quite a bit with her 24-year-old, maybe even older, but that's what was reported at the time, boyfriend, Leland Hayward. And it was also like super casually reported that he was her fiance after all. She later
Jeez.
denied that that was true, but like they were definitely an item. And it's crazy. Like I pulled this little People magazine clipping, and it's just like, hey, there's been rumors that they're getting married. No word if Drew's parents have approved yet.
Oh my God.
It's like not even called out as like super inappropriate or insane. It's just like, no big deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's weird. But I do love this look, this polka dot top. Here we are
Mhm.
back to the polka dots.
Yes, we are.
And she's got like black tights on and a little black skirt and super 90s hair flip and her red lips. It's just like classic
It
early 90s Drew.
it is classic, and I can't believe she's only 15, almost 16 here. She looks easily in her 20s. It is a great
Yeah.
look. I always associate clippings of this with you because I know you like the look a lot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe it's
funny.
also the long blonde hair.
That would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just think it's I always got to point out these like older dudes that had no problem dating her when she was super underage, and I'm just going to call it out.
You love calling it out.
I do.
Okay, so now before we get into the topic, let's get into what's new with Drew.
Do you want to hit the headlines?
Okay, there's really not much to share, but I think we should mention that two really amazing, rare personal photos from the archives of Drew were used to promote the beautiful Cyber Monday sales. Oh my God. One is from
Mm-hmm.
1994. Kill me now with this picture.
Yep, of her basically putting kissy face towards a kitty cat. Do we know what cat that is?
No, I don't recognize the cat. I tried to see what the little name tag said, but it wasn't quite clear enough.
Aw, but she's got, yeah, her pixie cut just
uh,
perfectly on display. So
it's
good.
so good. Oh my God.
With the baby bangs. Like this
uh,
is prime 94.
it's hilarious that it's just used for this like silly little promo.
Oh
It's
God,
like,
we keep kind of saying to ourselves and each other like, "What? They're just going to use the archive for advertisements?" Like, no.
whatever, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm happy to see them. And then yes, the other one. Do you want to try to describe that?
Yeah, this is definitely from the year 2000, and she's like on a beach doing her legs up, her arms are up, and she's just having a blast. And I kind of think this is probably the same day as another rare photo from 2000 that was shared quite a few months ago of her like brushing her teeth on the beach.
Hmm.
She's wearing a black turtleneck in both of those, so it must have been a little beach camping trip she was taking at the
I
time.
think that's a good call. Do you think it's likely it was taken by Tom Green?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that.
Yeah, I felt that way about that toothpaste one, and
Yeah, me
yeah,
too.
and this one just feels like right timeline.
Hmm.
I also love that I have pants that are the same exact color as those burgundy pants she's wearing. And I
Oh, they're
wore
so
them to the
cute.
Drew Barrymore show.
Oh my God. Yep. I can visualize them now. Okay. So if you guys missed these somehow, don't worry. We will share them in the gallery on the episode page on howdoyoudrew.com.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Drewbies! We are here to tell you about our website hosts, Positive Medium, and they sponsor the podcast. We've been clients of theirs for over 10 years, and we use them for all our website needs on thedrewsium.com.
Their services include customized web design, professional coding, search engine optimization and marketing, plus hosting, which has been huge for us for many years.
Plus, their incredible customer service has been one of our favorite features. They've literally saved our site quite a few times, and they always help with minor troubleshooting in a matter of minutes. So whether that's coding issues or back-end questions, etc., we reach out, we get help immediately, which is just invaluable.
Lucky you. To our listeners, Positive Medium is offering 25% off any managed WordPress hosting plan using our promo code DREW. That's DREW. Visit our friends over at positivemedium.com.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we ready to dive into this year of events, 2003?
Wow. I was like, I think there's enough in that year. Let's try it. And then I was like, oh my God, I've been doing this for hours. There's so much.
All right, so how do we dive into this? Do you want to summarize the year a little bit before we get into January?
Let's kind of just like set it up. So 2003, Drew is dating Fab. They're like really very, very together. So he's all over the place this year with her.
Fab as in Fabrizio Moretti, in case anyone doesn't know, the drummer from The Strokes.
Thank you. I'm on such a first name basis with him. You know, we have met him twice. So
Yes, we have. All right, what else?
Drew went through a hair transformation as she usually did back in these days. So she started with kind of shoulder length, her natural color, and then it moves on to long blonde extensions throughout the year. And then it gets short again later on. She filmed 50 First Dates and My Date with Drew. I didn't put My Date with Drew anywhere in the timeline because I don't know when it was done, but I think we should mention that it was that year that it was filmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the movies that were released were Charlie's Angels Full Throttle and Duplex. So big year.
She was busy. And because of
Mhm.
Charlie's Angels, this is where we get
Oh.
tons of promotion. So,
So much.
we'll get into that. So let's start with January 2003. So the first event we have in our archives is Drew went to an event in Las Vegas for CES with Sony. What is CES? Do you know?
Oh, it's the hugest convention for electronics.
Okay.
It's like massive. It's a huge deal.
Okay. So she was in Las Vegas for that.
Let me tell a little story about that.
Okay.
So you guys might know I live in Las Vegas, but for a little while I was back in Southern California, spending a bunch of time with Anne by coincidence. But I came back home for my 21st birthday, which was in January 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And I was home for a weekend, and then I was at the airport to go back to California. And I heard someone sitting near me saying how they had seen Drew on the Stratosphere the night before in Vegas. And I was like gutted.
I don't know how many near misses there have been with you and Drew in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that one really got to me though, because I had never met her at that point. And it was just like, what? Like I happened to be here this weekend and she was here too, and I didn't meet her.
That's insane.
But it's okay, because like in a second, we're going to talk about when I did meet her. So it's okay.
All right. So getting into when you did The Tonight Show, the first time we went to see The Tonight Show together in person was in January as well.
Oh, we stayed up all night long. You remember that?
Uh-huh. Because we didn't want to miss the chance of being first in line. I didn't quite remember that we stayed up all night, but am I surprised? That's no, not surprised at all.
I remember eating Pop-Tarts in my car like before we could like actually go sit on the freezing cold concrete planters that you have to wait on.
Yep. Yep. That wasn't the first time I went there early and sat around, but that was definitely the earliest. You made a note that she must have been promoting Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I don't honestly remember.
I don't either. It's been so long since I've seen this one.
Yes. I guess we didn't talk about the look on either of these, but is she wearing the same jacket in the first two events?
Oh, I think so. Good catch.
It looks like a dark, dark brown blazer. And I just
Yeah, she was
noticed.
very into that kind of dark brown blazers in this era, I feel like.
All right. So let's talk about what magazines came out in January of 2003. We have, I'm sorry, In Style is the February issue, and it had a really cool feature on Drew's photography. That was a cool feature, like a really cool
Yeah.
one.
Love that one of her on the beach with Templeton. And it's like pictures that she took with a Polaroid with like a
Hmm.
filter over it. Remember that?
Yep. They're so cool.
Oh. And I do want to reiterate if you guys aren't familiar with our year in reviews. So, I mean, there's literally probably dozens and dozens of magazines that came out this year, but we're only going to focus on the ones that had like like a unique photo shoot done for the magazine because trust me when it comes to Charlie's Angels materials
Oh, goodness.
it never ends. So we're only going to talk about those and we talk about the month that the actual magazine came out. So the February issue was on newsstands in January because we're trying to keep things chronological.
Yes. Thanks for clarifying.
Sure.
All right. Tell us about February.
Okay, in February, Drew randomly attended the Victoria's Secret sexy book launch. It's just like I could not find any connection as to why. She was there with Fab, Juliet Casablancas, who is I don't know if they were married at the time, but she was with Julian Casablancas, the
Mhm.
lead singer of the Strokes. So she hung out with Drew a lot this year. She was also pictured with Guy Seri, which we had like a little sidebar about him a while ago where we realized that they were friends and we didn't really know that before, but then all the pieces kind of came together.
Is that the person
and
who's
the,
associated with Madonna?
yes,
Okay.
yep, you got
Okay.
it. And then the other notable thing, well, besides the fact that they're like drinking beers and smoking in every picture from this event,
Oh gosh.
as Julia and Fab usually did. She wore a belt to this event that she wears in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle in the big warehouse fight scene.
Hmm.
And I have this belt. I ended up buying it from Sony when they did a big auction of all the props and costumes from Full Throttle. So just kind of extra cool that she wore it to an event that she like decided she liked it that much. And yeah, I own this now, which is pretty cool.
That's so random, too.
I know. So random.
All right. What else is in Feb?
And then on her birthday, her and all of the Strokes attended Clive Davis's Grammys party. So not much to say about that. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of her black suit. It's like kind of weird and puffy, but looks like they were having a good time.
And they're drinking here, but they're drinking like champagne.
Yeah, a little less rock and roll.
Yes. Yes. Drew and Fab both look very snazzy. So tell me about March.
Okay, so the very first thing is that there was this Global Vision for Peace press conference. And for whatever reason, Drew was chosen to read an anti war speech that was written by the Dalai Lama. So, pretty cool.
Yeah.
She went to do this. I think she was a little nervous about it. They talk about it in Vanity Fair of this year. But yeah, it's just really sweet that she's the one that was chosen to do this. Oh, actually, there's a quote. She said, "Usually I love a crowd, bring on the people, but tonight I am really nervous."
Oh, I could see her being nervous for something so like, I don't
Hmm.
know, that demands such respect as that.
Totally.
She
Yep.
just really, yeah, I could see her being a bit nervous about that. You noted that it's when her blonde hair came back.
Yeah. So this is the debut, the first time that we got to see it. It was still short at this point, just her natural length, but it is now blonde. It's a really good shade of blonde too.
Yeah, it is. And you made a note that she's wearing the same top as that CES event in January.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones I don't really like. So I always noticed when she'd wear it.
Okay, also in March, there were paparazzi pictures taken of Cameron and Drew outside of a sushi place. And it was notable because it's the first time that Drew was pictured with her blonde extensions. And you have a note here who did them for her.
Yeah, very random. I found this, but the woman's name is Susan Littman. She's a hairstylist, but also seems to kind of specialize in extensions and wigs. And I found a little article where it mentioned that Drew's were Indian hair extensions dyed blonde. So kind of cool to learn.
That's so random to have any kind of
Um,
source about that.
I know, very random. It was like a really weird place that I found it.
Yeah.
We kind of shy away from talking about paparazzi pictures because there are so many. If if we were to talk about every time she was paparazzi'd this year, we would never
Oh,
end.
yeah.
But this one was notable because now we've got the extensions. And I also took this picture of Drew and Cameron to my hairstylist to get my hair lighter.
That's
So,
amazing. And I think we've talked about that before. I was going to say one more thing about the paparazzi. Oh, I know what I was going to say is that if you want to see where we've used lots of like premieres of different hairstyles, make sure you check out the hairstyles section of the Druseum, because this is just one example that I'm sure appears there.
yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay, so next, we're still in March. She has started filming on 51st Kisses, later retitled to 51st Dates. It's unclear exactly when it was filmed, but her episode of Inside the Actors Studio was released also in March of 2003. And you made a note that it looks like it's from probably late 2002. Such a special.
Yeah,
I need to
man.
rewatch, but
I know there's nowhere to watch it. I already looked.
of course there's not. Of course there's not. So one of the many things that I'm sure is on our footage tapes that we'll need to eventually get out here. All
One
right.
day.
Yes. All right. So tell me about some magazines that were released in March.
Okay. Do you remember this? And specifically, we were at Book Soup, one of Drew's favorite bookstores, and we were just looking at magazines because we used to go and just flip through magazines like
Yep.
crazy there.
Yep.
And we discovered Drew on the cover of Movie Line. It was their March, April issue. And we didn't even know about it. It was like literally we found it in the wild and it was so exciting.
Oh my God, I don't remember that, but of course I love that you do.
Yeah.
That's such a cool issue too. That's such cute pictures.
Yeah, we'll definitely be covering that in our Movie Line series eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Vanity Fair. The April issue was the Hollywood issue that they do every year. And there's a cool 2-page spread with a picture of the Angels and Bernie Mac on the set of Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, like in the new Townsend agency. And it's a good one. They're having a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Those were always really fun to see Drew appear in the Hollywood issues.
Yeah, I know. I always love those.
Yeah.
And then finally, the LUK issue with Drew on the cover came out. I don't know why this one always feels very random to me. Like it's kind of under the radar. Like I feel like it was like people didn't know about it. Does that make sense?
It kind of. I mean, this shoot was just done for this UKL, right?
Yeah.
Like it's totally unique. I don't know. Maybe there is something, even though Elle is such a big magazine. What makes you feel like it was?
I think it was like hard to find and like not a lot of like we used to find out about a lot of this stuff from a message board and I feel like maybe no one knew about it. It just felt random, but it is a frequent photographer that she worked with a lot, Mark Abraham. So I don't know. I always just go like, oh yeah, this one. It just feels like we forget about it.
And I think it's oversized too, if I'm remembering correctly. That's a good one. All right, so shall we jump to April?
Let's go.
Okay, so in April of 2003, Drew attended the anger management premiere with Fabrizio Moretti, Fab. But it seems like they were like on the side of the premiere where the fans are. And I like that you have a picture here in our notes of Fab taking a picture of, I don't know, somebody on the red carpet. It's very confusing.
I think we talked about this before, but I think my impression is they just like thought it would be funny to jump on the other side of the barricade and be with the fans and take pictures and then jump back over. It's very random.
I can see actually now that Fab is holding someone else's camera. They're still attached to their arm, which is
God, I didn't realize
really funny. They're also dressed extremely casually. And I feel like we talked about this before because Drew's like probably holding a cup of iced tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. What else in April?
Oh my gosh, the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards. And the reason I said, oh my gosh, is because I've always loved how she looked at this. So this was Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu. They all went together. Mm-hmm. Drew's wearing an old school Charlie's Angels logo necklace, like from the TV show, which I always thought was fun. And
That is
it's
fun.
really hard to see what her shirt says because she has a scarf. This was a big scarf year for her, by the way. She has a scarf covering it, but I think it says, do you want to try pronouncing this? Le soirée, le
La
soir,
Soie, maybe?
which means the evening in French, which is
Okay.
cool.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so Fab came too, just a little side note. And then so what they were doing there was the Angels played like a Mario video game on stage. I think video games were the theme of the year.
Okay.
And then they got slimed, but it ended up being with spaghetti. You remember those pictures?
No, I'm like totally
You
blanking on
don't? Oh my
this.
God.
No.
Scroll down and you'll see them.
Oh
And
God.
then they presented favorite male TV star to Frankie Muniz.
Is
So
it
they were up
just
there for a while.
is it just me or does it look like Drew is the only one that got the spaghetti on her?
The other ladies took theirs off, and Drew was like, I'm going to wear this and eat it and be goofy with it.
Of course, total ham. Um, so also in April, Drew attended Coachella, and we know she did at least a couple of times. Is this the first time we know of?
I think she did the year before because that was sort of, it might be when she even met Fab in
Oh,
2002 at Coachella. Yeah, I think that's what that
interesting.
was. Mm-hmm.
And then the only picture we have just happens to be a fan picture, somebody took with her.
It's super cute though.
It is cute. It is really cute. All right, I guess we're ready for May. Are we going to be
Okay,
flying through this year or what?
no, because we haven't gotten to Full Throttle coming out yet. Okay, so in May she was pretty much MIA. She was likely filming 50 First Dates in Hawaii, so that's why. But a couple notable things. The first is that the MTV Movie Awards aired, and there was a pre-taped segment with the Angels, Nick G, and Vince Vaughn. And Vince Vaughn is like the supposed to be the Full Throttle ass coordinator, they call him. But it's funny because they like recreate as if they're on the set of filming the movie. But Drew, of course, had her blonde hair at this point, so she's wearing a wig to match it to the movie. And in one of them, I was like, "This is fully giving Amy Fisher wig."
Oh my God, I see the screen cap that you took out. She looks like herself and Amy Fisher in that. That is so funny. I don't
Um,
remember this at all, of course.
I remember watching it at your house, weirdly enough.
Of course.
Yeah. But we'll definitely share a link to this. You can find it online and it's pretty silly and funny. I mean, it's all about the ass.
Yes. Okay, so some magazines that would have come out in May include Vanity Fair, which I know this is like got to be one of your favorites because you did like a fakey version of it.
Recreation,
Yes.
if you will.
I couldn't think of the word recreation, but this is a Mark Seliger shoot. Great cover. This is like there's a lot of really cool pictures in this, including one
Yeah.
picture of her hugging her dog. Is it Vivian?
Yes, it is.
Mm.
I'm sure we'll cover this one eventually because I do like these pictures so much. And I was actually just reading a quote from Drew about this, how it was sort of more like they'd done all these like fun, whimsical shoots together. And this was like, okay, we're going to approach this like we're a little more grown up.
Interesting. You can feel that too,
Hmm.
but while still feeling playful enough because there's like a
Oh,
lot of different
definitely.
outfits and a lot of different sort of scenes that she's in, but it does have a classic feel to it. Like they sort of were
Yeah.
going back to basics. Um, Also released in May was the June issue of Harper's Bazaar, where Drew appears on the cover with Cameron and Lucy. Another beautiful shoot. There's only one color picture on the cover and a black and white picture on the inside of the three of them in a different outfit.
How
Um,
weird is that they only printed one picture inside?
yeah, especially when you compare it to like how many pictures were printed in Vanity Fair.
Right. So weird.
How do they choose? Is it like, was there
I
really
don't
only
know.
like one solid picture? How is it
They're like,
decided?
well, this is the only one where all three of them look good. Go print.
Yes, but this is our first of the Angels for this year together, and I'm sure it's not the last.
Oh no.
All right, let's get into June.
Yeah, as my notes say, oh boy, here we go. The Charlie's Angels Full Throttle promotional bonanza starts.
All right, let's get into it.
I think it's worth noting that this one is way huger than it was for the first movie. Like the first movie, It did have two premieres, LA and New York. But other than that, like Drew and Lucy went to a couple places in Europe. Cameron wasn't even with them because she was filming Gangs of New York, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
And it was just like a little more low key. This one is wild. They literally circled the globe. I would say this has got to be the biggest promotional tour she ever did for any movie, even more than E.T.
wow. I mean, they were really pushing this.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's just go back and forth. For our first stop, we have Tokyo, Japan. And this is likely, she was with Cameron and Lucy at this event. And this is very likely when they did a shoot for Frau magazine, which was released as a supplement in August of 2003. And that's such a cool shoot.
Oh, I'm obsessed with that one. Talk about like rare and weirdly under the radar. And they're in like
Yes.
kimonos and it's very Japanese inspired and just really special.
It's really cool. And this is another cover of the girls together.
Yep, it's a good one. Next, they went off to Sydney, Australia. They did a bunch of press and they even received honorary citizenship, which is really cool. And they went on the talk show Rove Live, and there was a premiere for the movie. Our friend Tess got to be both at that taping and the premiere, which is really fun. So we got like firsthand stories from her the first time she came on our show. Do you remember what episode that was?
Ooh, no, I do not.
Was it the hairstyles one or was there something before that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, you guys can figure it out if you really care. I do want to point out that at the press conference is like the first of sort of a couple really bold makeup looks that Drew had during this era.
Mhm.
This one is bright yellow eyeshadow all the way across her eyelids, even maybe a little bit around her eyes. And I actually really like this one, but she definitely got some flack for some of the looks coming up.
Yes, I know. I'm waiting for a specific one that.
Yep, I know
Yeah.
the one you're thinking.
But yeah, looks like for Sydney, there are multiple looks, obviously, for the different events they did. All right, let's go to LA. So now there was a full throttle press tour in LA that included the photo shoot for USA Today and for Newsweek and a press junket. And at this press tour, at least one of the parts of it, Drew was wearing bright pink, hot pink eyeshadow. So here we have another fun kind of playful look for that. And
I actually really love this one. This is probably my favorite of her crazy makeup looks this year. She just looks so hot.
she does look cool. And it looks like the pictures we have though are it looks like that's a paparazzi. Do we have like non-paparazzi with the hot pink eyeshadow?
Yeah, the one underneath is from that day. So they were doing a photo shoot and somebody paparazzi'd them.
Aha. Okay. And it almost looks less intense in the photo shoot itself than it does in the paparazzi image. Really cute, that picture of the angels.
I love that one. The next thing was that Drew attended a dedication at the Chinese Theater for a fountain. And it was basically in honor of Marilyn Monroe and the orphanage that she had been in as a child that was later renamed Hollygrove. And any pennies that were thrown in or coins that were thrown into the fountain, they're always going to be donated to that foundation. So it's really cool that they chose Drew to be the one to do the dedication. I don't know how that happened, but I do know that we weren't able to attend because The Tonight Show was filming that same day. And of course, we had to wait in line all day.
Of course we did. Of course we did.
I don't really remember this one too much. But I do think this might have been the time that we saw Chris Miller like before filming even started, and he like came over and talked to us, and he was wearing a penguin shirt. Do you remember that?
That does sound familiar, very familiar. And she's wearing the same outfit, so she actually didn't even change her outfit from the event to the talk show.
Whirlwind.
Yep, whirlwind tour. All right, so now we go to an event that you and I actually went to together, the Charlie's Angels Full Throttle premiere in LA, which was the next day.
It was so fun.
Yes, it's notable that we had Chris Miller come across the street to talk to us. And I think
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we didn't talk to him at the Tonight Show. And the reason I say that is because I think at this event he said like he like kind of was trying to clarify how he knew us.
Yes, I think you're right. I think you're right. I got that confused maybe with another time because we went to the Tonight Show like 8 times.
Yeah. Was it really that many? Jeez.
It's a lot.
I couldn't remember if Nancy came up to us and talked to us, but I do vividly remember Chris Miller because I have a picture that I took of him talking to us somewhere.
Okay, so you have all the photos somewhere.
Somewhere. I don't remember if we got Drew's attention because we were like quite a ways from the red carpet. Like,
yeah,
I feel like it was like
either.
several feet away, like behind the signage. We were like way over there. It was a lot of fun though. I do remember us seeing a lot of people.
Oh, it was like an event. There were so many celebrities in attendance. I'm not even gonna rattle them off, but it was really fun. Like it was just like all night. Like people kept arriving and everybody would cheer, and it was super cool.
I like how I have such a bad memory, but I do remember Bruce Willis and Demi Moore and their kids.
And Ashton
Kutcher. That's right. Wait, was Bruce Willis there too?
It was a big deal. Yes. Okay. They all came together, so it was like, of course.
Yeah, that was an ordeal. Yeah, and people were going crazy. The cameras were just flashing like crazy. I probably have like a blurry picture from across the street.
Probably.
The Angels notably drove up in quote unquote Dylan's car with McGee behind the wheel. So this is the car they use when they go through like the Foster's Freeze, or is that the first movie?
That's the first movie, but I do think that's what it's supposed to look like. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And they were all in coordinating white ensembles. And there is a point pretty early on when Cameron broke her shoe getting out of the car. And so she went barefoot and it kind of became part of her look. It looks really cute.
I don't know. It's so good, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
really
so
always love that.
And Drew's
of
look.
Of course she can make it work.
Yeah, and Drew's look is pretty iconic. It's just a white suit, but there's no shirt underneath. And she's wearing, I feel like I remember it being like a J. Crew, like baby suit. I don't know why.
It is.
But she looks amazing too. And Lucy's just looking classy as all hell.
This is probably my favorite look of all three of them together as an ensemble.
Yeah, it's really cute. Do we have anything else to say about us going to that event? I guess there's not really much else to say about it.
I think we said all we remember.
But yes, I do remember that being an exciting day.
We're so jaded.
Yeah. Yes, we were probably there way early in the day, hanging out, walking around. Actually, I remembered something else.
Yeah. Sephora.
Yes, that we went to Sephora and put on Deluxe Beauty before the event.
We sure did.
All right. So let's go to Mexico.
Okay. I was going to say adios, but that doesn't make sense.
Hola.
All right, there's a press and premiere. Not much to say. There's going to be a lot of these. So every place they go, we get a press junket and we get a premiere. And all that's really worth mentioning is that they have different outfits on for every single time. So we get like double outfits every stop they make.
Yep, we sure do. And I feel like it'll be fun to like look at these looks back to back.
Yeah, you know what'll be fun? I will do on our Instagram stories. Maybe I'll do like little polls, like what are your favorites? This one or this one? This one or this one?
Oh, you're gonna do one of those extensive little fun interactive things with our audience.
Just a little project.
Yeah. All right. So a couple days later, they're in New York. So here we are, another part of the press tour. Drew did an episode of David Letterman, and I feel like she's wearing the same shirt as an event.
Everything.
As an event from earlier?
Yeah. So this is exactly what she wears to the Sydney premiere.
Oh.
Same necklace, top, and pants, which I love that about her. I really love this necklace. It's like a giant moon, but it's sideways. I've always thought this was so pretty.
It is really cool. And then we get one of probably weirdly Drew's most iconic look for a premiere. Why is so random? The Charlie's Angels Full Throttle New York premiere. Like, what? Didn't we also have a bunch of people in our followers like vote this the best look?
Yep, this won our giant March Madness style bracket I did a couple years ago of like every red carpet look she'd ever had for two decades worth.
Mm-hmm.
This is, of course, the My Boyfriend is Out of Town t shirt and the black leather pants. You guys know what we're talking about. Champagne bottle walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Often recreated for Halloween. Even notably this year, Renee Rapp did it as Drew. And then she had Cara, I don't know how to say her
Delevingne.
last name. Thank you, was dressed as Cameron, which I thought was really fun.
That is really funny and fun.
We should mention that Drew's boyfriend was not out of town. Fab was there with her at this.
Yeah, I love that her shirt said my boyfriend's out of town and Fab was there with her. She talked about what was it on her show? She said she like got this shirt at like a random like secondhand store like across
I think she
the
said
street.
Yes, across the street from where the Strokes were like recording or doing something. Yep.
Yep. I love it. All right. So then we also have Conan O'Brien and TRL or Total Request Live. We're on the same day. And it's pretty obvious she's got the same outfit. She actually did keep the same outfit on this, and she's got a huge star drawn on her right cheek, sort of like next to her eye. Yep.
Which I ripped off, which I've mentioned several times that I used to try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that Drew did not change. Cameron and Lucy did, but Drew's like, I like this look and I'm going to wear it to both.
I like it. All right. So I guess we should go to Francais.
Oh, yes. So that's where the next stop was. There's cute paparazzi pictures of Drew shopping with Cameron and Nancy Joannin. So I love that Nancy came along for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then once again, we get a press junket and a premiere. Drew wears a black tie to both of these. It's an extremely long black tie. Not really a fan of that one.
She did that instead of a long, skinny scarf.
There you go. Yeah.
She just wanted scarf energy.
Keeping it early 2000s. And then Full Throttle was released in theaters in the US on June 27th. And I don't remember if it did as well as the first movie, but it still made a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then the magazines that came out, we had Entertainment Weekly, the June 20th issue. Love that photo shoot, even though once again, we only get two pictures, the cover and one inside.
Yep. And this one notably has the angels with Demi Moore. And it is
That's right.
It's a really cool cover.
I think this is the only shoot they did with her now that I'm thinking about it. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think you're right.
17 magazine, July issue. And that one's funny because it was clearly done either the end of 2002 or early in the year because she has her short brownish hair.
Oh, yeah.
And then same with the next one, which was Maxim, the July issue. And this felt like a really big deal when it came out to me. Did it feel like that to you?
I remember it feeling like a big deal because it was sort of like, I don't know.
She hadn't done anything like this in a while.
I was going to say it sort of felt like a re-entry into like things we would have seen Drew do in like 1995.
Yes.
Like,
and also it's just one full page after another. Like it's a huge feature. So I feel like altogether between all three angels, the whole feature is something like 20 pages.
It is a lot of pages. I know that I have like all of it saved in my scrapbooks, but I like don't have the other angels displayed. So there's like a massive chunk of like pages that I'm like, well, it's part of the feature. Like maybe I even have them displayed. I doubt it. Anyway, I do remember it being a big deal because it was like, it's a different type of magazine for her to, I think it's the only time she was ever on Maxim.
Yep, it
like
sure is.
I'm sure she was in like the hottest 100 or whatever their stupid list was.
With like some stock photo of her, yeah.
Yes, exactly. But this is the only cover and it's with the angels and it's beautiful. They look amazing and like having so much fun in the images.
And you can see her tattoos in a lot of them, which we always love.
Yes, we do. All right, so now we're in July. More press.
Yeah, and I said new month, same story. So we're still traveling around.
All right, so now we're going to good old London town, London, England. I love that you noted that Beyonce attended the premiere, so that was random. But had they done the song for the movie? Was that for the second movie?
No, that was for the first movie.
God, I'm just all over with the dumb questions.
The second movie was Pink, who did like the big theme song.
That's
and
right.
She came to the LA premiere. I remember seeing her.
Aha. Okay, and now we've got the white makeup that got such attention. Um, Drew's wearing, how do you even describe it? It looks like she like put white eyeshadow around her eyes and over her eyelashes and in her on her cheeks. I think it kind of
And in her
looks,
hair.
oh, that's true. It even goes in her hair. It's wild, but I think it's really fun.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I kind of love that she like swung for the fences. Is that what you say? Is that the sports related term? Something like that. But I like that she went for it because her outfit, I think I just noticed when I was doing these notes. I think it's the same black suit that she wore to the Grammys that is like kind of a weird fit on her. So it's very simple. So I love that she was like, "Okay, I'm going to do some wacky makeup and have fun with it."
Yep. And it's almost like, I don't know what I was going to say.
Also, this made me notice that Cameron was very much in a hat era. Like she wears hats a lot to these.
Yeah, she does. So Drew's in her wild makeup era, and Cameron is in her sometimes fun hat era. Um, all right, so let's go to Spain.
Hola again.
Hola again. So we have a press junket and a premiere in Spain. Um,
You like my note?
yes, Drew is wearing major Gumby pants, as you called them. Major. They're so wide. These are probably like the widest pants I've seen her wear ever, maybe.
They're like Jean Co.
Yeah.
I can't take credit for that term, by the way. I was an old coworker of mine named Jen. She used to say that because she had short legs, and when she wore pants, she would sometimes say she looked like Gumby. It's really good.
So that's where it came from. I think she's wearing the same pants in a later look, but she dressed it up a little differently. It's much cuter with the dark top than it is with the light top
Yeah, I
somehow.
agree.
And with the little beret. Come on, how cute.
Yeah, the beret was like so random, but she does it a couple times.
Very
And
cute.
then they're off to Rome, Italy, another press and premiere. Not really much to say except at the press junket, Drew is wearing the gold apple necklace that she wears in Full Throttle in the scene where they're at the Griffith Observatory.
Oh, cool.
I always thought it was really cute.
Yeah, that's a I didn't realize that. Good call.
Thanks.
And once again, we've got two looks. Not a big fan of the first. I guess I'm just not a big fan of like cheetah or leopard print, and it looks like her top is kind of leopard printy.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
really like either of these, actually. Sorry, Drew.
it looks like the second image there just having come down the Spanish Steps in Rome, so that's cool. I've been there.
Oh, wow. Great eye.
I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know where else they could be that looks just like that. Um,
I'm sure you're right.
okay, so should we jet on over to another country?
I think this is the last one. Let's do it.
Okay, so now we arrive in Berlin. So we're in Germany. Once again, we've got a couple different looks, couple different events. Drew's got two different hats here. Is she wearing one of Cameron's hats?
Yeah, what was going on? She just like wasn't feeling her hair or something. It's like completely hidden under the
I
hat.
guess not. She's like, I'm tired of doing my hair differently for every day and having to put a different dress on. Okay, and then they finished the month of July back in New York City.
Okay, so that's where Drew's going to be hanging out for a while over the summer. We're in August. She went to a Justin Timberlake concert, who was Cameron's boyfriend at the time. So he shows up a couple times. She went to that with Fab. I remember this picture being printed in People magazine of them kissing in the crowd, and it's super cute.
Hmm.
And then there's just a ton of paparazzi shots around this time, like I mentioned. One thing that was notable, do you remember this like huge New York City blackout that happened at this time?
No.
Yeah, it was a big deal. But yeah, there's pictures of Drew and Fab like sitting outside during this, and I always remember that.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Good memory. And then we have Drew attending the MTV Video Music Awards, where she presented the Viewer's Choice Award with Ben Stiller to Good Charlotte. I like that you noted that Cameron later married one of the members of Good Charlotte.
Yeah. I like when I was watching the clip of it and like there's one of each Madden twin on the sides of Drew. I'm like, I can't remember which one married Cameron, but you're gonna be friends later on, guys.
Yes, you are. You did little did you know. All right, so now we're in September, and Drew attended the Lost in Translation premiere in New York. Wow, I didn't know this. It was rumored that Anna Faris's character was based on and kind of mocking Cameron Diaz.
Yeah. And it was supposed to, I haven't watched that movie in a million years. I feel like you're probably more familiar with it, but
I
isn't
love
she
it.
kind of flirting with the like director character who would have been
Yes.
based on Spike Jones, Sophia's ex-husband? Okay. So that's kind of where that came from because of being John Malkovich.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, I just think that's funny because I wonder if Drew was making that connection when she watched the movie or not.
Oh, I wonder. Probably not. I don't
Yeah.
know. But she attended the premiere with Fabrizio, Mr. Fab.
There's a random picture of her talking to Mike D of the Beastie Boys, which I think is cute because she lived with him and his wife. I still can't figure out if they're still together or not. I've tried, but I don't know. But Tamara Davis, who of course was a good friend and director of Drew's. And I also found a picture. It's so tiny, but I'm pretty sure she's with Lorraine Bracco, who of course played her mom in Writing in Cars with Boys.
Oh, that's cool.
We love a reunion.
So now we have the Tonight Show for Duplex. And
Third time this year?
oh wow, weird. And the third time we also went.
Yep.
um I think you're right. This is the time that Jay Leno had Drew sign like the card he used to announce her to us, and which we
Yeah.
ended up giving away because we didn't know which of us should keep it. We gave it away to Missy. If you know who that is, then you might
Yeah, that
understand.
was really, really cool though. That was like we weren't at all asking for anything. It was during a commercial break. He like we saw him say something to her and she signed it. And then I think he walked it over to us.
I feel like he did
Crazy.
too. I feel like he did too. We were like, "What? What's
Thanks,
happening right
Jay.
now?" Yeah. Um,
I think that was also maybe the time that he called us the Drew heads
I
and
was
we
gonna
took a
say that.
Polaroid with him.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
where is that?
I'm not sure. I might have it. I definitely have a picture of it somewhere. If you guys want to see, we'll post it.
That is cool. All right, and then regarding Duplex, now we've got the premiere for Duplex in New York. Drew wearing a jacket that I think she wore another time, and it's very distinct. It's
Yeah,
like,
she does wear it. I think in 2006 over a dress.
oh wow, so a couple years later. Um, and then we've got TRL with Ben Stiller in promotion for Duplex.
I don't remember this at all.
I don't either at all. Drew's look is a little meh.
Yeah, boring.
She looks cute. And then they did some press for Duplex as well.
And then the month just kind of wraps up with her hanging around in New York.
Okay, so she was she was all over the place, but really a lot of back and forth between LA and New York.
Yeah. And then we get to October. So she went to an SNL after party when Justin Timberlake was hosting. Again, you see Fab, but the really fun part about this is that she's wearing the classic tie belt, which we were always a fan of. And I definitely tried to copy. Did you ever do that one?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I definitely did a tie belt situation.
We've talked about that a lot on the show.
Have we?
It's just such a like if you know thing about Drew. And I think we found out later that she attributes that to her dad. So love it.
Oh, I do love that. I feel like maybe we've even seen a picture of her dad with a belt as a tie.
I think we've had this conversation before.
We've had
Feels
all these
very familiar.
we've had all these conversations before. Life is just
A cycle.
it's just a cycle. All right.
And then we have the Hollywood Film Festival Awards Gala where she presented to Amy Pascal. And I thought that was kind of a full circle moment. It's almost, well, okay, let me rephrase that. It's going to be a full circle moment because a couple months later, Amy is going to present her star on the Walk of Fame to Drew.
Hmm. That's true.
And her hair's getting darker by this point, so she must have been done bleaching it or whatever. And she's wearing a top that she's definitely worn at least two other times, I think. So that's kind of fun. Again, we love a wardrobe recycle.
I was just going to say a wardrobe recycle. Okay, so now we are in November of 2003, where Drew attended an event that was a youth voting campaign kickoff for Declare Yourself, and it was at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. And she must have been gearing up for Best Place to Start. That's such a good point.
Yeah, at first I was like, was she filming it already? I don't know if she was, but she might have been. Like, we're really close to 2004. So I think it was at least in the works.
Yeah, it probably was. Um, yep. And then that's basically it because the rest of the year is just a few paparazzi pictures around LA. So,
Yeah, she always goes kind of under the radar, dormant in December. It seems to be the case always. So good for her, taking a break. And that's all we got. But yeah, that full throttle segment is wild how busy they were. Exhausting.
and I think it's very visual, so it'll be fun
Yes.
to see these. So make sure you do go to our website and check out the episode page to enjoy these pictures. And Ashley's going to put together some kind of fun thing regarding the looks of this on our social media. So you got to check that out too.
I'm committing to it. Yeah, I do like, but like I was texting you earlier when I was doing these notes, I was like, I can't believe we lived through this like every day. There was like multiple things happening. Like I was like, that's kind of exhausting.
Yeah. I know it kind of is, but we were just so it was like second nature to be checking every day for new info and we were on our
That's
message
true.
boards like all the time. So, right? Because we still had the grapevine at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So fun. Ugh, the good old days, but also I'm like, I don't know if I could keep up with that these days. But you guys have us to help you keep up with the Drew news. So thank you for being here and doing that with us all the time. If you're enjoying the work we do, you could rate, review, subscribe on wherever you're listening. If it's Apple Podcasts, you can leave an actual written review, which make us really happy, and we'll read it on the air.
Hmm.
And then you can follow us on Instagram at How Do You Drew Pod and also at Drewseum.
And as I already mentioned, but I'll say it again, visit our website at howdoyoudrew.com, which is on the drewseum.com. Sign up for our Patreon if you have not already done that.
Patreon.com/How
How
Do
do
You
you
Drew.
drew?
Yes, we should mention we just released Little Girl Lost Chapter 10 today,
Hmm.
and it's another really good one. Of course, I say that every time, but this is about her entering rehab for the first time. And there's some real deep dive research that I did. If you're a nerd about locations, and if you're a nerd for accuracy, and if you're a nerd for correcting things that are not true, come party with me.
Come party with us over at patreon.com/howdoyoudrew, please. And don't forget to send listener mail to us at all those places that we mentioned. Also, howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com. And I was going to ask a question to take us out, but I don't know if I have one.
How about like, do you have a favorite look from this year? Like
Ooh,
just one of them?
just one.
I know. Okay, I'll go first because I
Okay.
have mine. I
Okay.
think mine is going to be the the photo shoot with the pink makeup, pink eyeshadow, because I just think she
Ah,
looks like such a babe.
such a babe. Can I do this on the
I
on the
know.
fly? Let's
It's
see.
a big one. First instinct. It doesn't have to be your answer for all
You
eternity.
know what? I'm gonna go with the look with the white puffy makeup. I don't know
Really?
why, because there's something about it like I kind of love. It reminded me of something like Bjork would do. Like I don't
Mm,
know. I think
yes.
at the time I felt like I liked the edginess of it. Like it was something kind of like punk rock about it.
I
Um,
do remember you being one of the few on the grapevine who was defending it. So that makes sense.
I'm just gonna go with it because it's. I mean, some of the other ones are really great, but that one it does stick out. It feels iconic, for
Yep.
her to have
Okay, I
done
love it.
something so off the cuff and non-traditional. I like that.
We both picked crazy makeup looks.
Yes, yes, we did. Ultimately. All right, we'll see you next Tuesday, everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna do a movie episode. Just a little tease. And we love you and we
Oh,
thank you. Bye
yeah.
bye.
Bye bye. This episode of the How Do You Drew podcast was researched and produced by Ashley and Ann from thedrewseum.com with help from our sponsor, Positive Medium.
Special thanks to Matt Costa for our lovely theme song, Roxy Prima for our adorable logo, and last but not least, Drew Barrymore and all the Drewbies who love her. We do this for you.
Thank you.